Hangout on air is live. Cool. It's actually moves quite quicker now that they've updated some of the things. And I actually have some light today. We're not recording it at midnight.
That's the reason all of my light is behind me.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
At least you're wearing you get the Seahawks jersey on. That's good.
I'm getting alerts during the
sure.
whole show.
We'll keep this short. We'll keep this short, as we always say. Even a short 2-person podcast was over a half hour, which I thought was just hilarious. Anyway, I'll count us down. And 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to SQW. This episode, Gold Mercy, your weekly-ish side-questing wrestling podcast. I've been saying weekly-ish for everything now. I am Dolly Demovsky. Joining me as usual, JJ Holder. Wait, hold on. I am Dolly Way Too Loud Demovsky. Joining me as usual, JJ.
12th man.
12th man Holder. I love it. And John Binaural Kehoe.
Binaural, yeah. Now today I am John Kehoesworth, because any man with one hand can do a podcast, because I got a bad shoulder today.
Oh no.
Any man with one hand can do a podcast.
Oh geez, too many pile drivers apparently. Excellent. Well, gentlemen, thank you. The three of us are back together. Sorry, JJ, you missed out on a wonderful episode last week.
Well, but I get to do a nice segue since I'm returning and we have returned.
Yes. Wow, perfect.
Nicely done.
Well done. Well done. Let's just jump right into that first, and then we can start chatting about some of the other things. So there is a big return coming to WWE.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then not in just video game form either.
Yes, correct.
I mean, it's 2016 and it's Goldberg. I don't know if I even care at this point. I really, really, really liked Goldberg and when Goldberg was Goldberg in WCW. Mm-hmm. But once WCW folded, that was sort of it for Goldberg, and it should have been it for Goldberg, because it wasn't until the network launched that I even remembered that Goldberg won the WWE Championship. I remember he was there, but I don't remember him winning the title. But sure enough, there he was.
Was that an Elimination Chamber match that he won that, or was it something else?
I think it was something else. I think he like one of his first big matches was like after his Rock feud was with Triple H in the Chamber. So
okay, yeah.
I think everyone. I can't, but yeah, boy, you have to go back and watch some of that stuff. I'm sure they put up a collection at this point.
Well, so it's supposed to be on Monday night, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be a big return. And apparently the feud is with Brock or.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of if he's going to feud with somebody in a return, I guess that's the one that makes the most sense. Yeah. I mean, nobody has fond memories of their WrestleMania 20 match.
Well, yeah.
It's true. I even forgot that happened.
Yeah, it was a garbage match when they were both on their way out. Everyone in the arena knew they were on their way out.
And turned on the match completely.
Like instantly, too.
Yeah.
Like they were
really?
They booed both of them. The only person who got a pop in that match was Steve Austin, and he was the guest referee.
Yeah. So
I do remember that part. Okay, now I do remember. All right.
Yeah.
You had some. They build it as like this battle between these two monstrous.
Well, and then they almost ended up having like it seemed like an actual wrestling match. Like they were just sort of pushing each other around, and if it was presented a little better, you could have played it off as, look, these are two of the strongest guys here. Look, they can barely move one another, but it really just we knew the story behind it.
Right.
It was just, well, both these guys, you're never going to see these guys again. So
so it's been over a decade since Goldberg's been, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was his last match, wasn't it? I mean,
that was his last WWE.
13
that was his last wrestling.
12, 13 years ago. Yeah.
13 years ago. Yeah. 13 years in the making.
13 years in the making. Is he that desperate for for cash, or is it because Ryback is gone and now they need another big man?
Well, personally, I think they're desperate to make Survivor Series, which is one of the co-branded pay-per-views. Give it some air of importance, because Survivor Series has mainly been decimated in terms of importance, for the most part. And
even this year, they've already started announcing what to expect at Survivor Series, and it doesn't sound like 3 separate traditional Survivor Series matches, like a tag team Survivor Series match, a regular Survivor Series match, and a women's Survivor Series match. Like that's going to be your marquee match, is Goldberg Lesnar, because
well, you have to decide what are the stakes going to be, because I mean, once upon a time, just having multiple person matches was cool in itself, because you got some matchups that you wouldn't normally see.
A bunch of guys like Hulk Hogan teaming up with a bunch of the other like up and coming baby faces to take on Ted DiBiase or whoever,
Yeah, and so you have Hogan interfacing with heels that he would never even go near, and it was kind of cool. But now in 2016, everybody's already fought with everybody a million times.
That's true,
because you have. You have 20 million hours of television a week, so there are no fresh matchups.
And everyone's been in a tag team together at some point or another too. Yeah. So it's not like it's.
So what are the stakes? What are the stakes going to be? Is the big question to me.
Yeah. But now it's too early in a brand split to make that like which brand is great kind of.
Yeah. It's too early.
If this were next year's Survivor Series, sure, you would have had time to build up a feud between the brands a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, separation would breed the competition a bit more, and I mean, I can tell you right now, it's SmackDown is the better show.
Yeah, it is. I totally agree. But you're right. There isn't this feud right now. There's no nobody. At least I haven't seen a SmackDown versus Raw feud. It's just two different shows. But yeah, I've been preferring SmackDown because of some of the storylines we've been talking about recently. But yeah, it's.
The booking on SmackDown just makes sense. I mean,
yes, right.
Whether or not they hit out of the park on every single angle, there are angles. There are storylines and people who are doing things that are not just them hanging out and catering, coming out for a squash match. Everyone has a story.
Yeah. I mean, the world title picture has been real good on SmackDown too. So
yes, it's been pretty clear, right?
Yeah, you got 3 guys constantly in that picture, and it's all like you got the AJ Styles, the greatest, in the world today. You got John Cena, who is John Cena, and throw in Dean Ambrose there, who's been trying to cut his own way into the company, like nobody gives him his due or whatever. And it's a great kind of 3-person thing they got going on in that title picture.
Yeah, and the other divisions are percolating along nicely. I mean, they're building from the ground up, and you can. It's like watching NXT, where NXT was very, I mean, that was a 1-hour show, but you had little things happening and build, and this event here had a consequence there, and you can get invested in, right?
Right. Yeah.
The Raw is just like shotgun plot and boom, here's try this on this week.
Except for whatever reason, they've been really dragging out this Sheamus and Cesaro thing and we're nowhere near the end of that. So, like best of 7, and now they're a tag team because, of course.
Yeah. I mean, 2 of them together is not that bad of an idea for a tag team, really. It's just let's get there, and I want that moment where they just they manage to do something together that works. They look at each other, kind of shrug, and then they go boom, and then it's off to the races.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me that moment already. Hurry up,
But it's the WWE, so they're gonna drag it on as much as they can, like because they already have with this whole storyline. So.
Yeah, it'll be like pulling teeth for sure. Yeah. Yep. But so back to the whole Goldberg thing. So you have Goldberg, you have Brock, and you have the WWE 2K17 tie-in, right? Which seems to be
sorry. Back on topic. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry. Back on topic. Back on topic.
This is why our short shows are 2.5 hours.
Exactly. The amount of tangents we go on. Exactly. But yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, it's all very timely, of course. It's all, this is the big release of gaming wise for WWE. It's getting some pretty good ratings from what I've been seeing, or some previews and stuff.
I picked it up. I got the. Yeah, it's they fixed things that needed to be fixed. That's for sure.
Okay.
But it's still the same game.
It's the same. Okay. Yeah, because I have last year's, which was
it's more than enough
free. Yeah.
But yeah.
I think we'll definitely get into more of this on the more gaming focused episode. But
I intentionally are keeping it brief on that.
Yes.
I can really go off on it. So.
Yes.
But it is the trend too. I can't think of pretty much every year they have pre-order now and play as Arnold the Terminator. And
exactly.
Arnold Schwarzenegger goes in the Hall of Fame. You bring Sting in. Ultimate Warrior got his Hall of Fame thing. These have all been the pre-order bonuses. So it's not a surprise anymore when they say, "Hey, pre-order now and play as Goldberg." You're like, well, that means that match is coming at some point.
Exactly. And it was funny because I had thought, you know what, Goldberg hasn't been in one of these games in a while. And then the first thing that hit me was, Goldberg hasn't been in one of these games in a while. And then the second thing that hit me was, Goldberg hasn't wrestled in a while. The third thing that hit me was, oh yeah, Goldberg. And then I realized it's been over 12 plus years since he's wrestled, which is insane. And I'm more than anything, I'm curious to see how he's kept up, because he has wrestled, but not in WWE. And I'm curious to see how his body has changed and adjusted over the years.
He's stayed on TV in various ways. He had that muscle car show and stuff. So he's at least still TV presentable and nothing else. So
he's been showing up in podcasts.
He was never, I don't know about ring rust with a guy like Goldberg. It's not exactly like he was a top conditioned wrestler to begin with.
So he's got to be late 40s now. I'm not 100% sure on his age.
He would have to be. I'm not sure exactly, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was virtually 50 by this point. Because he had an NFL career before a WCW career. So.
Oh, that's right. God, if you guys that whole he's 49 years. I just checked. That whole wrestling or football turned wrestling thing is actually pretty dominant in a lot of cases. A lot of folks made that transition over. But I'm curious to see how this is going to go over. I actually don't think it'll go over very well, to be honest.
I don't know. Brock Lesnar is not going to lose to Goldberg. So what's
right on the very first
and lose in one match.
The rumors that he's going to be coming out firing as a heel, right?
That's wait a minute. Goldberg?
Yeah, I've read stuff like that. That doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense
at all. In any way.
Yep. I mean, that would be the only thing that could be different about Goldberg. That would be somewhat interesting. But this guy. I'm not totally not against anybody who's 49, 50 and up or anything with that. Like that. But there's a point where it becomes difficult to wrestle and keep up with these younger guys, right?
He was already dangerous even in his peak wrestling thing. So I can imagine being 49 and not wrestling in a while. At least you're fighting Brock Lesnar, who can be equally as dangerous. So
right.
Something's gonna happen to somebody, and it's not gonna look pretty. That's for sure in this match.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup. For Brock's sake, his style now is very different than when it was when they fought when they wrestled 13 years ago. Now he's much shoot based and UFC style, patched in there. And Goldberg's just he's stiff as can be. I don't know. I'm not sure how they work this into a good match unless it's going to be no DQ and there's weapons and lots of stuff going on.
Yeah, it's gonna be a gimmick match.
It'll be short too.
I mean, the match itself being no DQ, but the happenings in the match will be very gimmicky.
Yeah,
I would assume somebody's gonna try to make a name for themselves in that match. I have a feeling.
My feeling is it'll be a parlay into the Brock Shane McMahon match.
Interesting.
They planted the seed for that.
I could almost see Shane coming out during this match. Then okay, all right, I see that.
Maybe, but we'll see what happens.
Okay.
We did, because for whatever, they've established Brock as he likes beating up SmackDown people too. So.
I guess we'll find out tomorrow night, right? It'll be interesting to talk about this on our next episode. But Surprisingly, even though I'm totally not interested in reliving the Goldberg years, I'm interested in seeing. I'm curious. Maybe curious is a better word to see how this all goes down. Right?
It's a big thing that deserves attention at least. Like it's
Like, well, again, it's the make Survivor Series more important.
Yeah. Make Survivor Series great again.
Yeah. There you go.
So Goldberg, we'll see what happens tomorrow night on Raw, and we'll reconvene after later this week and talk about that. But up next, kind of another way of looking back at the past is looking back at recordings of the past, which is what the WWE definitely wants out of TNA, and we've touched on this before. Big news this week, and there's all kinds of stuff happening with the TNA. And,
oh boy, is there!
Yeah, JJ, why don't you summarize what's been happening? Because I'm going to stumble over myself. There's been a lot of things, and they all deal with Billy Corgan.
Yeah, well, Billy Corgan's suing them. Like, I forget. Did they ever say why he's suing? Other than he's got a order of restraint against them, and like. I'm assuming they owe him a lot of money at this point. Like
it must be.
Like because he must. And what was it? Tennessee has filed a lien against the company. Like that's not good. That's like really not good. What do you like? How much longer does this company think they can just skirt around on? I'm assuming Dixie is taking money from her dad, right? Like that's how all this untraceable money is coming from.
Well, that's what I mean. That's years ago TNA that I assume that she was taking money from her family to do that. Like, I mean, now I'm assuming Billy Corgan has bailed them out a couple times so far this year.
Apparently it wasn't. Like they're adamant about it not being him. This for Bound for Glory and the TV tapings, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like if he did. Like in that.
Well, So I mean, just I'm looking at the New York Post article right now, and it says, while he hasn't publicly stated why he's suing them, one of his friends, someone close to him or close to the situation, said the guitarist, a minority owner, TNA parent Impact Ventures, he was upset because his recent investment in the company did not gain him a majority stake as he had been promised. So it really does kind of become about control, and the amount of money and time he's poured into it hasn't returned that level of control that he was expecting. And so that's why he's suing TNA, to probably either to get that control or to get a way to back out.
Yeah, I mean, apparently Dixie has just made a complete and total mess of everything. And like even some wrestlers have lost their theme music.
Because of licensing rights.
Really?
Theme music even, so.
Yeah.
They just come out and they're like iTunes music.
Yeah, well, Billy Corgan's been doing the theme music lately, I guess. Like but it's music from the previous composer, I think, that they lost the rights to. So, so it's just a new thing every week. That's just, and it sounds like the WWE isn't even interested anymore now. Like,
which that's bizarre to me because they wanted that. They may just be waiting for the whole thing to just be put up for sale.
I was talking with some friends about it. It was like I wouldn't be surprised if within like they were trying to like do a purchase, maybe got a little glimpse at the books.
And,
maybe.
Or even so, like they see the writing on the wall like ECW and they're just like, all we have to do is wait, at most another year and we will be high bidder on the tape library. Like,
at $5, the WWE gets the TNA.
Because like if WWE wanted it, there's like they're the highest bidder. Like there's no way.
There's nobody close who would want it.
Yeah. And it's Dixie who will make the decision, and she's a wild card. So once you take Dixie out of the equation, then there's no stopping WWE in that situation. So so who knows what next week's Death of TNA sub story we'll have on this show.
It's kind of too bad because I read some the rumblings of this Matt Hardy, TNA Impact, broken Impact or whatever they were going to do.
Total
something,
yeah, like total nonstop deletion or something.
Total nonstop deletion. That's it. Tag team tournament with hopefully with people from other feds and stuff that come in and do it. And then that sounded interesting,
Yeah,
And
Matt Hardy has sort of made that thing worth watching, like, for the most part. Like, I've gone out of my way to watch that stuff, even though it even though it may not be the best wrestling, it's worth watching. It's super fun at times. So
yeah,
it's at least like if he got control of the company, like, who knows where that. But yeah, a whole episode of Impact from the Hardy compound.
Sure.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
It sounds way different. Yeah. Totally different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe, I mean, the direction that they need to go maybe is something that's just completely different than what they were doing and is kind of unique to wrestling shows. Before we get any further on any other topics, JJ, I'm looking at your wall of wrestling figurines behind you. Is that a honky tonk man that you have behind you there, or do you have one?
There definitely is a honky tonk man.
Yes, score. He was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. Anyway, sorry, the honky tonk. It's amazing. I could see it through your phone's camera lens. Well done.
Greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time.
Yes, he was. And he had that little strut that he had. Let's move on from TNA because I'm sure next week there'll be more to talk about. And let's kind of cap off this episode with talking about our failed attempts at predicting No Mercy. And wow, I'm glad we chose a bunch of different results because nobody got anywhere near being maybe even 50% right.
Nobody batted 500 on this one.
No. So here, the interesting thing was, let me get into it right now and say that the World Championship Triple Threat match ended up kicking off No Mercy.
Yeah.
That was weird.
That was weird. I wonder, and that pushed a lot of things back. I almost wonder if, and this is maybe it's a conspiracy theory. I don't know. I almost wonder if that was because of the debate that was happening at the same time, and people
Vince McMahon probably wanted to watch Donald Trump on a debate, and
sure.
After the match ended, he just checked out and watched the debate.
Yeah, seriously, that may have been what happened because I know the ratings for the debate were super high, and there would have been a lot of competition between the two. So why not get at least this big initial match out of the way? Anyways,
I guess that the philosophy is better for it to spike and then during the show peter off rather than straight across. Nobody watching the entire show.
Exactly. Yeah. Could you imagine a World Championship match that very few people watch? I mean, what would that say about the ratings? At least, it's a great point. Get that out first, so if things peter off.
Yeah, like you got your three top dogs in the main event, and then nobody's watching it. Like,
at
least what was the final match? I don't remember now.
It was Orton and Bray.
Yep.
Orton and Bray. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Nobody watched that. Nobody remembers that.
Yeah, I mean the closing match should have been Miz and Dolph. We'll get to that in a minute, but yeah.
So there were a few changes, obviously, because of
Becky was out.
Injuries, and so we'll get to that right now. But anyways, we'll start off. I guess maybe we'll start off right away with that World Championship Triple Threat match. This is the one we all got right. We all chose AJ Styles. That's great. We all started off 1-for-1, so that was good. We're in a great mood.
They fooled me on that double tap out because I came out here and I said that heel champions rarely ever lose triple threats, and then he did a double tap out, and I was like, oh god, that's the worst. But then they did the whole other deal. So
yeah. And that was a good match.
It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. It was enjoyable to watch.
I like the gimmicky spot of Dean stopping the tap. That was a good.
That
was a
visual
moment. I liked that.
Now I ended up rewatching the highlight on WWE Network and online for that, and that was actually pretty cool. They incorporated that aspect into it.
It was good.
But yeah, I think we were all, AJ Styles he's slowly becoming a huge star for WWE, and they need to keep him up there. So
he's definitely becoming their MVP on that show.
Yes, SmackDown definitely.
It's nice that they recognize him. Not just like it's very easy to come in and like the last, if he had come straight from TNA into the WWE, he wouldn't be world champion.
Right.
No.
But he had that time in New Japan, and WWE really respects New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And him being so big there, I think it gave him a sort of a good push for the company. So
well, he got
him a lot.
He got the stink off. He was
he was able to work that TNA funk right off of him in Japan. And you make a fan out of Vince McMahon, and you're good.
And then you're good through the company. Yeah, exactly. You can kind of do whatever you need to do. Whatever
That's
you
right.
need to do. So then I think the next match was Swagger versus Corbin. Remember correctly? Yeah. Actually, the kickoff match was Hype Brothers American Alpha versus Ascension, but we didn't do any predictions for this match. So
no, I didn't even know if that was. I didn't even pay attention. I didn't know that was going to be a thing. Russ.
Neither did I.
My prediction would have been, "Who cares?"
Exactly. We all lose. The prediction is we all lose.
I assumed Corbin versus Swagger was going to be at the kickoff.
Yep.
Corbin being the king of the kickoff. So
Yep.
Well,
Corbin did win. Corbin defeat Jack Swagger. I had Swagger, so that's X for me. But you had Corbin, John. JJ, you didn't pick that one in your.
Yeah, I must have just. I see Corbin and I just sort of zone out. So.
So you and I both had X's on that. Meanwhile, John got the point. So, John, you're 2 for 2 so far. Well done. Well done.
I'm good.
Up next, we had Nikki versus Carmella. Nikki Bella versus Carmella. Nikki Bella wins.
Hey.
So both of you got that correct. John and JJ, I got it wrong. I had Carmella. So John, right now you're 3 for 3. You're probably sitting back going, all right, you know what? I'm going to nail all these, every single one.
Any man with one hand can predict the pay-per-view.
Any man with one hand. You also correctly predicted Heath Slater and Rhino defeating the Usos. You and I, JJ, both had the Usos. So
yeah.
Suddenly, I'm starting to think that John may have had some type of in on.
That's right.
You were presented the results ahead of time, and you were pulling a WCW Eric Bischoff.
Jonathan Bischoff.
Butts and seats.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. But now apparently this leaves Rhino's available to run for office in a couple weeks here. So
nice.
As the champ, I should say, as the champ. So that's good. Up next, we have, let's see, it was supposed to be Becky versus Alexa Bliss, but Becky was injured. And so that changed a few things. But Naomi kind of took her place. And Naomi ended up winning. So it seems like, okay, this is all predetermined that Alexa Bliss had to lose.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much who won, but it was who had to lose.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I presume that the planning for this match was fairly short notice, so I was kind of surprised Alexa wouldn't have won to keep,
that's a good point.
The storyline sort of fresh, to keep up the mood sort of built up. Like, I can win the championship, but instead you just sort of beat her at the last second. In terms of storytelling, that was the worst possible finish they could have come up with for something like that. But
I ended up not seeing this finish, so I didn't catch this match.
Yeah, but not only that, but they announced that the rematch is going to be in
Glasgow.
So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So, yeah, that bodes well for Alexa Bliss. Actually, if you're going to be a heel, winning overseas and
That's true. That's true.
Has there been word that Becky's been cleared, or I haven't heard much about it?
Oh, that's just what they've set up that match. So
yeah.
I would assume she'll be cleared by then. So
right, okay.
So whether she's cleared it or not, we don't know. But yeah,
because it's not a like injury. It was some sort of medical non-competition thing. So she was probably just really sick or something.
Yeah, that could be it. It is that time of year of the flu. Yeah.
Dehydrated or something.
Dehydrated. Yeah. So it's good that it's not an injury. But since so we all had Alexa losing, thinking that Becky was going to win. So I think we can probably take the point, right?
That's a half point.
That's a half point.
Yeah, partial credit.
Partial credit. We'll do a half point. So we all got that. Of course, John gets it again. I don't know how he's doing it, but and up next, this is the match to me that I was really looking forward to, and I'm glad it turned out kind of the way that I wanted it to, which was Dolph Ziggler versus The Miz.
Yeah.
And Ziggler wins. They weren't going to get rid of Ziggler. JJ, I have no idea why you thought they would, but they weren't going to get rid of Ziggler.
I was going for the long shot on there. I was going for
well, yeah, you were hoping.
Maybe part of me wanted Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking if it was going to happen, maybe they actually have a storyline ready for Dolph Ziggler because they've been doing that with everybody. But yeah, one thing I will say about that match though, I am shocked at how much the crowd was into it. And
that's true, right?
And I was very happy to see that as well. I mean, they worked their butt. I mean, I don't know if it was the best match. They did a lot of that, using each other's finisher or not. Yeah. No, sorry, not using each other's finisher, kicking out of finishers.
Yeah, a lot of false finishes, like to an annoying degree.
Yeah, overbooking stuff, but still, like the crowd just bought it. It was excellent. Yeah. Like, it really brought it up to another level.
The most a crowd has been into a Dolph Ziggler match in a long time,
and they've had dozens on TV.
They have.
Just like Botchamania just put up a video, and that was one of they set it to the song that never ends, and it's just this super cut of all of the title cards of the matches they've had over the past decade or whatever. Like it's just dozens and dozens of matches between these two, and
I think it's just adding to the Miz's. I don't know if we're gonna call it a legacy or not, but I think the loss serves him better than a win, at least. And then we'll get another supercut in about 10 years when they face off again.
It reminds me a lot because my dad always jokes he doesn't watch wrestling anymore, but every time he turns on wrestling, it's always Randy Orton versus John Cena. And it's what it sort of reminds me of. Like at every given time you can turn on WWE in the past several years, and there's a good chance Miz versus Ziggler might pop up at some point.
It's always Miz versus. I think that's a good catchphrase for the podcast. It's always Miz versus Ziggler. In Miz versus Ziggler match highlights this week.
Exactly.
The continuing saga.
Yeah, continuing saga. The final match: Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. You did mention Randy Orton. Bray versus Randy. Let me just start by prefacing this. John so far has been right about the Corbin match, the Nikki match. Half point for Becky, Naomi, Slater, Ziggler, and AJ. Every single match he's gotten correct, except for this match. One you got wrong. It's the Inception music.
It's Bray Wyatt. He doesn't win pay-per-view matches. What happened?
This is correct. Except this time I said he was gonna win it, and I win it. I got that's the 1 point that I got over JJ. JJ, you and I were tied going into this last one at 2.5 points. And I had 3.5 points. It's still far from like John's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 points or so correct. But I'm glad Bray won. I appreciate Randy Orton, like I said, because of his family heritage, his just growing up a wrestler, the history there. But I just thought it would be a little bit more interesting if Bray Wyatt ended up pulling it off, and he did.
Yeah, I really like Luke Harper.
Yes, and which was funny because John, what you said in our show last week was you see Randy Orton winning it. The only way Bray Wyatt would win is if Luke Harper. And sure enough. You should have gone with your premonition.
I should have went with it.
You would have gotten a bonus point.
You would have gotten exactly. You would have gotten an extra half point back.
Yeah, I should have went with the gut, I suppose.
But I think this is good for Bray. I think from a billing standpoint.
Yeah, he needs something. A shot in the arm and
badly.
The brand split may help make Bray Wyatt a threat, because how threatening can you be when you never win a match? Like
right.
You can stalk somebody all you want, but if you never win, it's
Yeah. So I'll go on a limb. I'll say the next step to resuscitate the Wyatts is that Bo gets fed up with Raw and goes to SmackDown to join his brother.
Yeah.
I guess I definitely see that happening. Yeah, it's a good point. I like that.
Do they reference them being related? That's a thing.
I think if he joins the Wyatts, they kind of have to. I mean, it becomes oh, guess what? This fact you didn't know, and which is a nice little reveal for when Sister Abigail finally arrives. But you know that's down the road.
Which boy, there's been rumors for that for so long. It's bound to happen.
Forever. Yeah.
So we're probably on 0 hour at that point. They're training a lot of female wrestlers and stuff.
Yeah.
So at some point you're gonna.
At least they're referencing Sister Abigail again now for the last few weeks. So there might be a little bit of smoke. Hopefully, where there's smoke, there's fire.
So the next, well, that was all the matches. Well done, John. Being handed the results ahead of time. Overall, No Mercy wasn't too bad this year. This time around, again, they were fighting a lot of, there was WWE. There was the debate, which is kind of like WWE. Definitely last week's was. The debate was happening that night. There was an NFL match happening. There was, I think, Westworld was kicking back up. So there were a lot of things taking place. So they were fighting with it, but they did a decent job, and I think there were some good matches and promising results. So
it was a good 3 hours of wrestling.
Yes,
it was fine.
The next big event is Hell in a Cell. I think that's Halloween Eve, which actually falls perfect on that weekend. I think they nailed the scheduling for that one, and then we have NXT Takeover, which is the NXT's kind of first big pay-per-view since or maybe the Brooklyn Takeover, I guess you could kind of call that was the first big one. But this will be good for the NXT now. It's over in Canada, the Air Canada Center in Toronto.
The return of Mickie James, which
exactly
that's really interesting.
That's a real neat thing.
Yeah.
And then you have Survivor Series, one of my favorites. And if only they'd be able to do it the way they used to way back in the day. Then TLC, Roadblock, blah, blah, blah. But up next, definitely Hell in a Cell, and I'm sure maybe on our next podcast, not this week, next week, we'll do kind of a prediction for that as well.
Maybe we can discuss the pros and cons of having the same gimmick match 3 times on the same show.
Yes, exactly. How about this time with the Hell in a Cell?
Remember, TNA did that. Like they had
Lethal Lockdown.
They had Lockdown where every match was a cage match.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the show, you're real sick of cage matches.
What was pretty funny was after the debate, last week's debate, somebody had created this terrific GIF or GIF of the cage being lowered between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and I thought that just lines up perfectly with the wrestling match. We'll get to
the first women's Hell in a Cell match is obviously going to be sort of
that's
going to be the talking point for the
it will be
all the build up.
Yep. There hasn't been one before?
Nope.
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There's been a women's cage match before, but not a Hell in a Cell.
Okay.
I don't know, like if this were like, a handful of years ago, that probably would be something way different than what it is. Like it's like a Hell in a Cell match isn't too far removed from just traditional cage match these days. So, I don't expect any crazy Mick Foley bumps or anything, but you never know.
you might see someone get a little scratchy poo on there.
Which again, like blood in a women's match would be.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be
different. It'd be something
very different.
Yeah. It would. That match is going to have people talking for the next few weeks, before and probably after, if it goes down well enough. Like you've already got a lot of people coming out, especially old timers, kind of talking down on the concept of that match. So
I mean, if they could do a match that's halfway as violent and crazy as that Mariposa Sexy Star match on Lucha Underground, not the I Quit, what did they call it? No more. It was an I Quit match. No Mas,
No Mas.
No Mas. Yeah, it was an I Quit match basically, and and Sexy Star got bloodied up bad, and it just brought the fever.
When was that? Was that season 2 or
2? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about halfway through, I guess. Man, it was tremendous.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back into the archives of On Demand. Excellent. Well, gentlemen, fun show today. You know what? I'm gonna say this, John, because you kind of won the prediction. You are now the SQW title holder,
the reigning champion, and defending.
Rating and defending.
Undisputed
SQW champion.
Longest reigning
SQW champion of all time.
Until the next pay-per-view event. Well done, my friend. Well done.
Let's see. I do have a championship.
Oh, there you go.
Hold on a second.
The best part about Halloween season right now is that you can get wrestling belts like at Target.
Yeah.
Even like the local CVS. So I'm gonna pick one up.
Here we go.
Here you go. He's got it.
Here's Peter's championship. Yeah. His little tiny plastic one.
Yeah. Mine was too expensive, so don't get one of those.
This was $20.
Yeah,
mine
was substantially more than $20.
Yours is a real belt that you took off the body, the carcass of Goldberg's failed attempt 15 odd years ago.
Yeah.
Well done, gentlemen. Thank you very much. You can find us on YouTube. I'm going to set up a separate YouTube account just for SQW, so that I can finally get out of my personal account. It'll make things a little bit easier. So that's coming in the next couple of days. We do have a podcast stream. It's slowly loading in iTunes. We'll share that information shortly. But as soon as I get everything up into iTunes and all the episodes, we will and all that the stream. Then I'll post the links everywhere. But we're gold on a bunch of things, so that's always a good positive. You can find us at sidequesting.com. I'll see if maybe we can set up a Twitter account. That could be kind of fun. That we'll all share in. You can find me at Dolly Dimovsky. JJ, where can they find you?
The double J underscores
galore. Underscores galore. That's your next. That's your next wrestling. And current SQW champion John Keogh. Where can they find you?
It's my name is John Keogh. Yes, at SQW Champ.
That's a great idea. That'd be like POTUS. Do they have to like change POTUS to who's ever the next president? SQW champ. I like this SQW champ. I'm gonna create that.
Swank. It's at John Keogh. Otherwise,
excellent. Well done. Take care, everybody. We loved having you join us. We had a few folks that tweeted at us. Sorry I didn't get to your questions. Mostly because we were having a great chat, but we'll get to the stuff.
We were too busy with talking amongst ourselves.
Going off on tangents as usual. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on the next episode of SQW.
The champ will be here.